Travis, over the past few months, some of the biggest names in tech like IBM, NVIDIA, Apple have announced massive investments right here in the United States.
A lot of money.
And we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars going into new factories, research hubs, and manufacturing centers. After decades of offshoring all of this, why are these companies suddenly racing back here to build on U.S. soil? And more importantly, what does this mean for our economy and for Americans?
We'll start with the first question, Steve. Why? A lot of it has to do with national security, right? You had the pandemic, and obviously U.S.-China tensions here recently, and they've exposed risk, in foreign supply chains, in chips, AI tech, even some ingredients for drugs, that we want to make medicines as well. And it's all too important to just solely depend on imports. We kind of found that out during the pandemic. We want some of this that we're producing ourselves. So
Homegrown,
right, yeah. You also have government incentives here that are helping drive some of that innovation. The CHIPS Act is one, and then you have some other tax breaks and grants that the government's given these companies to produce here. And building domestically will bring major financial benefits to the country once it gets up and once it gets going, right? Last two, you have supply chain, manufacturing closer to home, as you pointed out. You have fewer delays, better quality control. We like that, especially in times of stress, the pandemic being the most recent example. We don't know what else is coming, but having some of that to help through those crises is going to be important.
Yeah.
For years, we've outsourced to places like China, Vietnam, and Mexico, and it made perfect sense at the time, particularly for tech companies. I mean, labor was cheap, materials were abundant, and global shipping networks were reliable and on track. But the economic landscape has changed, and then when that happens, companies have to adjust. Their vision has to change, and they have to adjust for their shareholders. And let's be honest, Steve, if I can save money on cheap labor in Mexico or China, it doesn't really help if I can't get my product here efficiently, right?
So true.
So,
Travis, what does this mean for Americans in the short run? We're probably going to see higher prices. U.S. manufacturing costs more. Expect to pay more for tech products such as your phones, laptops, and cars.
Already seeing that.
Yep. Inflation is going to stay higher as production costs rise. Inflation may linger a little bit longer than we would probably like, but it's going to be part of this process, affecting everything from your gadgets to the grocery stores.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, though positives are, there's going to be job opportunities. New factories and tech hubs mean more jobs in engineering, construction, and logistics, especially in regions like the state of Arizona, Texas, and Ohio, just to name a few. Local economies are going to be affected in a very positive way. Cities where tech companies are investing will also see more housing demand, higher wages, and then new businesses opening up because of all of this manufacturing and everything coming back into the United States.
Yeah, it does have a chain reaction effect. With Taiwan Semiconductor building right outside of Phoenix there, you're seeing what you just pointed out, housing demand, and then when the population's there, what's going to come? The stores, the restaurants, so it does provide that economic activity that you're talking about. So longer term, Steve, what it means is we're going to have a more resilient economy, right? Manufacturing here in the U.S. means fewer supply chain disruptions, which we like, and more stable tech product availability. We'll have a stronger jobs market. You hear high-tech roles in AI, semiconductors, and energy, they're going to drive growth, especially in emerging industries. And that's going to help in those local economies. People are going to have more money to spend. Then for us, you're going to have potential investment opportunity here. Investing in companies that are reshoring manufacturing could pay off. That growth is going to stabilize over time and as the U.S. tech industry continues to strengthen. And probably my favorite part and what we've led the world in a long time is just more tech-driven innovation, with more critical tech being built domestically here in the U.S., where we have more control over it. We're going to continue to lead in those cutting-edge industries, fields like AI, quantum computing, and the U.S. is just going to expand their lead there. We have a lead right now.
Right.
It's going to be hard for people to catch us, but we want to continue that momentum and move forward. So there's going to be some challenges in the short term. You pointed them out. Inflation. No one likes paying more for gadgets to groceries.
Right.
But in the long term, benefits are going to be, they're pretty clear. More efficient, self-reliant economy, stronger position in global tech. We like that. So, but if anyone out there has any questions, like how did these dynamics affect your plan, your situation, what goals you want to achieve, reach out to us. We're thinking through these things all the time. Yep. Be happy to discuss the situation with them and help get a plan in place for them.
Can't agree more, Travis. It's been great. I look forward to it next week.
Look forward to it as well.